Hello and welcome to another episode of Don't Shit on the Bus. I'm your host, Adam Elmakias, tuning in all the way from Los Angeles, California for episode number 72 with my good friend, Vinny Mauro of Motionless and White. All right, so this episode, we had Vinny come on and talk about, Vinny's had a little bit of a cool journey over the past few years. I first met him when he jumped on tour. I was out with A Day to Remember, and he was a newly joined member of Motionless in White, but he joined as a touring member. So he wasn't actually in the band. He wasn't in the band photographs. And slowly over time, he has progressed into a member of that band. And I think that kind of thing is pretty interesting, like how that works in the back end and how touring band members become actual band members. That's cool to me. So I think that's cool. And so we talk about how he got into the band, how he stayed with the band, what it was like trying out for them, touring with them, and all the way up to current time. They're currently on a tour with two other bands, Black Veil Brides and Ice Nine Kills. It's like a triple headliner tour. So we talk about what it's like now playing and headlining some of these venues that they opened for on that A Day to Remember tour, 8 or so years ago now. And it's cool. I like those full circle moments. I like talking to band members about their job because it is a job, but we don't really always think of it that way. So anything that kind of shows that, whether it's crew or band, everybody's on the road just working hard, trying to do the best they can every day to make the show happen and, make a good show for the fans, because that's why we're all here. So thank you, Vinny, so much for sitting down, sharing your experiences with everybody. I appreciate you, and I look forward to seeing you in real life sometime soon. And before we get to the episode, thank you so much to our weekly contributions from the patrons. I appreciate you kind of helping the podcast out. Well, not kind of, really helping the podcast out, making it possible. I just sent out our most recent welcome packages, so you should be getting a Don't Shit on the Bus sticker and bag tag in the mail soon if you just recently signed up. That goes for you too, Ian, my good friend. I know you're my friend, but you're still a patron, so you still get a welcome package. And then, of course, welcome our new patron, Garrett. Thank you for signing up. Thank you for supporting the podcast. As always, anybody who signs up, we'll give you a shout out. Come join the Discord, hang out, chat. We're on there casually, just bouncing off ideas, seeing what people have been up to. It's just a good way to kind of have a community. All right. Thank you so much. And I look forward to talking to y'all next week. Welcome to the podcast, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Have you done a podcast before?
Yeah, just once.
What'd you do?
It was Ricky, who's in my band.
Oh, awesome.
He just did one, like a couple years ago, actually, during
That's
quarantine.
Sick. Hey, man, COVID will give you it'll force you to go on some fun journeys.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you finding some time in an off day. Where are you? I'm assuming a hotel room. It does not look like a bunk.
It is a hotel room. Yeah. We're in Kansas City, Missouri.
Hell yeah. How is Kansas City, Missouri? It's like one of those places where you usually just end up for off days. I guess they play shows there too, but what are you doing? What are you doing for the day?
I'm not doing shit. I just had food like maybe an hour ago at a Thai place, and I got a shower and I'm clean.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't really have much on the menu. Probably play some video games.
I was going to say, I looked at your Twitch. I saw that you're a gamer, and as any gamer does, try to squeeze in, some video game hours on the road. Do you have like a traveling setup? I know some people have like it in a, what do you call it? Like a road case, but how do you play games on the road?
No, I just have my laptop actually that I'm on right now. Yeah, it's a pretty beastly laptop that I don't play console games. I mean, okay. So I'm like a PC guy anyways. So yeah, I just like stuck to that. And I have a Pelican. I have like a Pelican that I've had with me for fucking like 8 years at this point. It's not like, I'll just show you. Actually, I don't even know where to, it's right here. Got this big boy.
And that's all gaming stuff?
Yeah, it's just built for my laptop.
That's amazing.
It's not crazy though. It's just got like a controller and like just cables and stuff.
I vibe that. How I'm trying to figure out our age difference. How old are you right now?
I'm 28.
28. Okay. So when you were younger, did you have to I'm 32, so I'm a little bit older, but when you were younger and you wanted to game with your friends, did you guys like bring computers over to each other's house? Like, were you gaming?
Oh,
yeah. Okay. Cool. What games did you play?
I was like World of Warcraft mainly. Okay. That was a game that like I lost a lot of time to.
I was going to say, that's not a game you just play. That's a game you like live.
Yeah, for sure. I played that since I was a kid.
You still play it?
Here and there, every time an expansion comes out, I have to like check it
Yeah,
out,
you gotta check it out. Go back to the I vibe. I'm like a StarCraft, original Warcraft, Diablo 2 kind of player. So similar vibe, but a little
Yeah.
less time commitment, even though I still committed a lot of time. That's awesome, man.
That was actually a really big part of my like probably like middle school, early high school life was like bringing my computer over to my friend's house, my friend Mitch's house, like every weekend playing
Yeah.
WoW together.
Are you still really good friends with Mitch?
No, I haven't. I mean, not really. We used to be like boys in like elementary school and like middle school and stuff, but yeah, haven't really talked to him much.
I can kind of like, I'm still friends with my gamer friends because we're also just best friends, but we all got a Blizzard tattoo on our knee. And like
Oh shit.
it was like one of my friend's first tattoos and my other friend's not first tattoo, but I paid for their tattoos if they would get it. And we all got it together.
Damn, that's sick.
I relate, like gaming was such an important part of my childhood too. Wait, where are you from?
I'm from Pennsylvania, Central PA.
Okay, I think I knew that. I'm from Wisconsin. So, us cold states, we got to have
Yeah.
something to do in the winter.
Oh yeah, something to heat your room other than the heater.
Dude, I know that WoW people used to like set up in like a circle together and just all play for like days. Is that kind of accurate?
Oh yeah, I go to Mitch's house, and his brother was really into it, and his brother's friends were older than us by like 5, 6 years. So when they were like seniors in high school, and we were in middle school, I would just always be over there, and there was like 5 or 6 of us, 7 of us sometimes down in the basement, just like sweating it out for like 2 or 3 days, just hanging out. But that shit used to be so fun.
Yeah, beverage of choice during these activities. Mountain Dew. What was it?
Probably Gatorade. I loved Gatorade. I don't know why.
Hey man, it's a sports drink. It's not like WoW is not a sport. Come on, we're going. It's like the mega marathon, ultra marathon of video games.
Oh yeah. Dude, what's crazy is my school actually was really big into Halo 2 as well. We had like school sponsored like LAN events like a couple of times a year. Dude, it was so sick. But I was in middle school at the time, and the friend group that I was just talking about, like Mitch's brother, they were like kind of like behind this. It was like sort of like the IT club type.
Yeah, they like set it up with the school's cooperation, kind of.
Yeah. It was so sick. Like sometimes it would be like they called it like a lockout. You would just stay there for the whole night
Yeah.
and just play Halo all night with like 30, 40 people. It was so cool.
Oh my god, that sounds like it sounds romantic. I don't mean that in the typical way, but I know what you mean by like thinking nothing replaces those memories and how warm they make you feel.
And when I tell people that, they're like, your school did that? And I'm like, dude.
Yeah, that
and I
is
was
cool.
from such a small town too. So it was a really cool thing that like everybody loved Halo. And like
There's something weird about too, like I wasn't a big sports person, but I did have a few friends I hung out with at school. But if I had an event like that, it'd be so weird for me to see like all these people that I didn't normally hang out with hanging out at school, doing a thing that you don't really do at school. It's so weird.
yeah,
It's a weird feeling.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Oh man, that's awesome. Speaking of Halo, when I like back in like 2008, when like Devil Wears Prada and A Day to Remember had buses, they would pull their back lounges up to each other really close and open the windows and have Halo parties through from back lounge to back lounge, connecting the systems. It was sick.
That is sick. When was that?
I would say it's like 2008, 2009. I think we were playing Halo 1, like pistols only kind of vibe, like some of those old school.
We still play Halo on the bus. On our
really?
Bus. Yeah.
You guys are true gamers. Are you guys all gamers?
We're not like hardcore gamer. I mean, even I'm not like I used to be, at least. Me and Ryan mainly are the ones that like play video games, but
that's awesome.
I mean, yeah, everyone still kind of, dabbles or whatever.
Yeah, keeps you sane. And it's good group activity, right? That you can all do, wind down, hang out. It's not drinking.
It's fun to just scream "fuck you" to your friends all the time when just in person, just yell at them.
Yeah, no, that's great. Oh man, I love to hear that. Well, it's good to know that you guys. Not that I thought otherwise, but it's always nice to hear that bands spend quality time with each other off stage, because that's not always the case.
It's been, dude. Lately, it's been great, but yeah, there were a few years that weren't the best, but it's been great.
All right, so wait, let's take a step back, because as much as I would enjoy to just talk about video games, like we went back pretty far. I would talk about video games for more than an hour, but we initially met on your first tour with Motionless in White.
Yeah, it was my first. It was like my first nation, because I did a tour before. It was just like
Okay.
a small,
Like a B market.
it was just like a little guy, like a small club. But it was one of Motionless's first bus tours. But either way, that was only like a 2 week.
Yeah.
But the one with you was like one of my first like full country like runs.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you started on a bus. Did you tour before? Like, I don't know your life as a musician prior to Motionless and White. I just know you as he's emotionless. He's here. This is what he does.
Yeah. No, I didn't tour at all. So
Okay.
I was in just some local metal band. I basically knew somebody who knew somebody that was emotionless, and they were like parting ways with their drummer at the beginning of 2014.
Yeah.
Uh, So I in 2013 they hit me up because I knew Balls, who was the keyboard player. I met him a few times, and he knew that I played drums. Blah blah blah. He was like, "Yo, would you want to try out?" And I was like, "Maybe, I guess." I literally never even listened to Motionless in White ever, which was really weird because I was from PA, and they're like PA like hometown heroes.
What kind of music did you listen to?
Same shit. Like I was into metalcore. Like I was into metal. I was into metalcore. I don't know how I never listened to them. I don't know. Yeah, they asked me to try out, and I was just thinking. Like at first, I kind of brushed it off, but then I was just like, I don't know why I wouldn't like want, because I was still like, I want to make my band work. Blah blah
Yeah.
blah. But then I was just thinking, like, man, I don't think my band's gonna go anywhere with like, because it was just like me and I think you know him, Logan Beaver.
Yeah.
He's like one of my best friends, and we grew up together, and so like he was in my band.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and so it was just me and him essentially against the world type shit. And then he was about to go on tour, and I was about to go on tour, and I was like, I'm just we'll put it on pause. I'm gonna try this out, I guess.
Is that weird to kind of, I mean, some people could feel like that is a quote unquote giving up, but I definitely know it's not. But is it weird just admitting to yourself, all right, my own thing is not going to work to the level I want it to, and this thing is
Yeah.
already, on a bus?
Yeah, it was just like a no-brainer. I mean, I was like, this band is already has toured in different countries and shit, and like, yeah. So
They did a lot of the groundwork for you.
exactly. Yeah.
I mean, and then going into it, I'm sure, okay, so you try out for the band. How did that go? You just tried out and they said you're in, or I don't know what the process is for that.
They gave me like 4 songs or 3 songs to learn to, like, make a video. I had to, like, record myself and send it to them because I never met anybody in the band except for Balls at all. So, I sent these videos in, and they loved them. Like, Chris, our singer, like, really loved them. He, like, texted me and was like, "Dude," he was just, like, super impressed. And so, I, like, got the job, like, instantly, but I never met anybody, never whatever. So, dude, I flew to LA, never having met anybody, flew alone to LA to meet them. We rehearsed together. I played so bad. I was so nervous and so scared and
Oh, that
so
sounds
just like
insane.
it was bad. And like the craziest thing is that nobody said anything to me. So I call my mom like after the first practice.
Wait, what do you mean? Like you just went into this and they didn't talk to you, or?
No, I mean like they didn't say anything about me sucking.
Oh, okay, yeah. They didn't acknowledge this thing that you knew was apparent or felt was apparent.
Yeah. And so I'm like, I call my mom. I'm like, Mom, I blew it. Like, they're going to send me home. Like, this is,
Help.
I don't know. But I was like, but the weirdest thing is nobody's saying anything to me.
Yeah.
Like,
And you're 20.
yeah, I was like, I just turned 20. I'm like, this is scary. And I don't know. But by the time the first show happened, it was fine. But they eventually told me, I don't know if it was on that tour or maybe the next tour, that they were like trying, they talked about it
Yeah.
together.
Like they had a team. They were like, all right, me,
Yeah.
like,
And we're like, so what do we do? Because like we can't get anybody else. There's no like
oh, because they thought you did a really bad job.
well, it was after the first practice. We only had
Yeah,
like
yeah.
2 practices maybe. And dude, they're like, we're going to Australia in like 2 days. There's nobody who can play like I had to learn like I don't remember how many songs, like 9 or something.
Yeah.
And it's like there's nobody that can learn that many songs in such a more short amount of time. So we're stuck with them. So yeah, but they didn't tell me that till afterwards. But either way, when we get to Australia, it was Australia, by the way. It was the first, that was my first tour ever.
The
First,
farthest place you can go.
yeah, first anything at Soundwave.
Oh wait, was I? I think I saw you.
You
Did I
guys,
see you
I
there?
think you
Yeah,
guys were there. I don't think we met though, but
a day
you
to
guys were
remember.
there.
A
Day
day to
Remember
remember
was
was
there.
there.
Yeah, because
Yeah, I remember that tour.
I talked to either Josh or somebody else from A Day to Remember
I believe it.
on the way there.
Okay.
Like I sat beside them like on the plane, like all the way to Australia. Either way, we get to Australia and I was like just so fucking like determined to like not suck that I didn't go anywhere. I didn't talk to anybody in the band. I didn't leave the hotel room. I only practiced on my shit. I literally got a noise complaint like 2 or 3 times from different hotels.
Well, you're just playing real drums in your room.
No. I had like my pad, like I had like a,
Okay.
you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
I was
practice
just,
pad.
or I was like hitting pillows or like whatever. Yeah, I was so scared and so nervous. And then after the first show, it went completely fine, and everyone was like, "That was good." I was like so fucking relieved. It was so crazy.
How nerve wracking was that first show when you're like, all right, I was so bad they couldn't even tell me. Oh, you're like, I gotta prove them wrong. Like, what was that first show? You're afterward. I mean, I would have cried from relief. Like, yeah,
I did cry.
I was gonna say,
I cried. The next morning I cried. I woke up and I was like, "Holy fuck, I did it!" I was like, I actually did it. Like, I'm here in Australia. Like, I woke up, I looked around, I'm like, I'm in Australia right now. I did it. Like,
what a good first festival, man. That festival's how was that going to Australia and just playing? You know, you went to every city.
yeah, that was
All
one of the
five.
most. I mean, Australia with A Day to Remember was one of my favorite tours ever.
I don't know if I was on that, but I believe it.
Yeah, you were. It was with Amity Affliction.
Oh,
And
okay, dude.
but either way, but like I love
Yeah, I
Australia.
remember that
It
one.
was a good time. Even my first time there.
Yeah, that's amazing. And it's crazy. Like, as we're recounting tours, it's always wild, like, that we can be on the same tour and our experiences are so different, or the band I'm with is doing their own. Like in Australia, you know, the band when I was with the Day to Remember, they would do their own thing a lot. So we wouldn't hang out in dressing rooms as much. So I wish though. But yeah, that is cool. Well, congrats on overcoming a lot of stress and anxiety that you had to think about on a flight over. You weren't drumming on the flight.
It was stressful, but I got through it. I'm here. And they've been stuck with me for 8 years now.
Yeah, dude, congrats on that. And that's kind of, well, let's keep talking about that. All right. So the cool thing for me about you going from being in a local band, and is local band correct? That's like being in a smaller band and then going to this, you know, internationally touring band on a bus. What were some things, if you can think back, that, I mean, you've never been on a bus before. Were there things that you imagined the road being like that then it was wildly different? Or did you have any expectations that you're like, oh, this is how it is?
I don't know. I never thought that it would, especially with this group of people. A lot of them were straight edge. I don't know. I didn't expect it to be crazy, like party, like, you know, like Motley Crue type shit.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that, but I don't know. It wasn't really that much of a culture shock. I guess like I kind of like assimilated myself like pretty easily. I kind of
You were
try
a
to
good
stay
fit.
out of the way. Yeah, I just try to stay out of the way of everything, like of everybody. Like
Yeah.
if you come to me, like I'll talk to you and like open up, but like I don't know. I think that's why they liked me, is because I just shut up and I didn't like I never, I don't know. Overstepping your bounds and just being annoying is like one of the worst things ever, like for a tour. Like, you know what I mean? Like just I don't know.
Yes. So you kind of read the room and your vibe was like, okay, like everybody's got a lot going on. I don't even know what everybody's got going on. So I'm not going to add to their mind clutter. I'm just going to exist here. And if they want to bring me in, I'm ready.
I'm here. Yeah, exactly. So I just stayed the hell out of the way.
That's pretty good advice. Like if you're on your first tour, that's probably a good way to kind of vibe it.
I mean, I think my whole life I'm pretty good at assimilating to any group of people, any type of group. I don't know, because I just like I figure out the vibe, and I'm just like I'm just over here just hanging out. Like I don't know, I'll stay out of your hair, but like if you want to include me, I'm here.
No, I mean, I can relate to this from personal experience. And at this point in my life, and I think yours as well, like I was rolling 2 blunts a day for a Day to Remember on that tour. Like we were smoking a lot of weed, which by no means am I promoting or advocating for. I'm just acknowledging it for the sake of the story. And I have this like photographic memory of you kind of moseying over, and I think you wore like those athletic like pants, or maybe not, or shorts. Did you wear those or no? What did you wear?
Like gym shorts?
Yeah, gym shorts. You didn't wear the tight things underneath. I must be making that up in my head. I just picture
No,
you.
I didn't wear tight. No, but I definitely wear shorts. You
Okay.
probably saw me wearing shorts. Yeah.
Okay. So half my memory is correct. That's pretty good. One out of half memory is not too bad. But you came over in gym shorts and just kind of hang out, smoke a blunt, talk, and like that's how we hung out on that tour. And I remember it. And you assimilated very, very well.
Yeah, I had a really good time. I got along really well with the Day to Remember guys. Like I still remember tours from like 7, 8 years ago that like fondly
Yeah.
because like we got along like really well. And what was so crazy is like as a kid, I was such a big A Day to Remember fan. Like
Yeah.
no joke.
Hey man, I
I
understand.
loved the Day to Remember. Like
Yeah.
in like middle school and high school, it was just like a band that I really liked. But like I said, I'm not a person that like gets in people's hair or anything like that. So like
Yeah.
I just wanted to be cool with them. Like I just wanted them to think I was just a
An equal.
normal ass, yeah, just a normal ass person. I mean, we became like real good friends on the very first tour that I ever like met them and whatever. And it was just really cool, especially going to Soundwave, them talking to me and like I was just like, wow. Like first of all, I'm freaking out that I'm not going to play right for this band in Australia, but also a member of one of my favorite bands. As a kid, I would be freaking the fuck out if I was like 12 years old or whatever it was when I first heard them. But
Yeah.
yeah, either way, it was just like so like I was like, wow, this is like actually happening right now. Like I'm like just chilling with a member of a Day to Remember right now.
As you tell these stories, it makes me think like I wish I would, as a person, ask people these questions earlier because I love hearing. Like when we met, I don't think of you as I never thought of you as a person who was like living your dream when I probably should have, or like just had all these life events happen. I'm just like, oh, it's the other guy on the tour. Let's hang out.
Yeah.
So you achieved your goals like successfully, but at the same time, like just try to realize that's so cool that you were living your best life and you still are. But back then, that was a lot of firsts were happening on that tour.
Yeah, a lot of yeah. It was and the first year I was in the band was a whirlwind. It was crazy.
What's it like in your memory?
I went from like having I don't even remember the number of followers on Instagram, but it was like maybe like 3,000 or something. And within the year, I had like 80,000 of me joining the band, and then touring with. Within 1 year, I went from not being in the band to touring with Slipknot, and was just like meeting everyone in Slipknot, and like and then not even a year after that, getting endorsed to all the brands that I played
Yeah.
growing up, like every single one, like literally every brand that I loved as a kid that I was like that I bought myself anyways. I somehow managed to get a sponsorship with all of them.
Shout them out. Let's hear who supports you real fast. I just want to know.
DW drums, Zildjian, Vic Firth, and Evans drum heads.
I know all those companies, which means they're big companies. Congratulations. That's awesome.
Dude. It was crazy. I signed the Zildjian and the DW endorsement on the same day. Like I went from not being endorsed to endorsing the two biggest in my mind, the two
Yeah.
biggest drum companies that there are. It's like being signed to Nike or something. That's how I felt. Like when I was signing, I was like, dude, I'm signing to Nike right now. This is crazy. I can't believe this.
That's awesome, man. I can see the joy in your eyes. I can feel it too. Well, that is so cool that it happened so fast. So first year, were you just constantly like, not literally, but you were just feeling so high all the time from that. I bet it was like,
yeah, I was just
exhilarating.
like, I can't believe it. Well, it mainly started happening in like 2015, I would say, because that's when I toured. Yeah, I think that's when the Parks and Devastation tour was. It was like that's when everything started like escalating. Was like that year because we did like Warp Tour and then we did the Day to Remember tour and then we did like Slipknot later in that year and then Warp Tour 2016 and it was just like everything kept like compounding and it was like it just kept you could feel that the band was getting bigger, which was crazy.
That is wild. And I'm sure you were going from, were you guys mostly supporting back then? And then, or were you starting to headline too?
We did a lot of supporting when I first joined.
What's it like? I know when you're on the Day to Remember tour, you said that they treated you pretty well, which, I'm not asking for bad situations, but was that the feeling across the board or was it different on different tours being a support act? Like, what was that like?
I generally like what's crazy is a lot of people have like bad horror stories or whatever. Maybe it's just because we kind of stay away from everybody and don't really. We're kind of
there's no opportunity for it to be bad.
Yeah, we kind of share the same sentiment, like as I do. Like we all like don't go out of our way to really. We're not like antisocial, but I don't even know how to explain it. If you come to us, we're totally cool,
Yeah.
but we're just not going out of our way to like be crazy social.
You're not proactively looking for social situations, but you're totally ready for them if they come to you. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So I've never really like toured with a band that like fuck those guys. Like never really
Yeah.
like ever.
That's
And
great.
especially as like headliners, I don't think there's ever been a band that's like totally treated us like trash or anything. Like Slipknot was super cool to us. Breaking Benj, super cool to us. Korn, super cool to us. Like really nice. And just like I think like real successful like rock stars are the ones that like actually are nice to people. Like you can't like get, I don't know, you cannot get to the top by being a fucking dickhead. Like
Yeah.
Michael Jordan may have done that, but that's Michael Jordan, and he's the only person that can do that. Like it's just like you just can't do that.
Yeah. I think there's just so many people working like, and granted, I don't know the inner workings of basketball, so I can't comment on that. But there's so many people that have to exist together constantly in your life that it's not, you can't shit on the bus. You just can't be the guy. You can't do the thing. Well, that's great to hear you've had such a good experience. I mean, and so then 2015, 16, did you guys just tour pretty consistently?
Yeah, I think that like 15 and 16 were probably like two of our busiest years, I would say ever. That was just like when we were just like trying to like, you know,
Get
keep it going.
momentum. How did it affect your kind of personal / home life? I know you probably had a lack of it when you were touring heavily, but was there anything that changed drastically now that you were, I mean, in a much bigger band or anything like that? Or
Well, I was in college when I first like was trying out, whatever. So I
oh
dropped out
wow,
of school to join the band. I was still living at my parents because I did 1 year at a university, and then I moved back to my parents and was going to a different university that was like close to there. So I was like commuting.
yeah,
So I was still living at my parents at that time. So didn't really change my home life much besides like obviously not being able to be home,
yeah,
but like to see my parents. But
yeah,
yeah, yeah, it was like I was so like I played drums all the time, and like that was like one of my only things that I did. I was like pretty much like preparing my whole 5 years up until that point for this opportunity to happen, and it somehow just like landed on my lap. So I was just like, I'm in. It was like my parents were super supportive of it. They didn't. My dad's in a band, and like he's played music my whole life and shit. So like my dad was like, hell yeah, like go ahead, like that's awesome. And my mom literally, when I told her, she was I didn't even give her a choice. I was like, I told my dad a week before that I was doing this. I was like, Dad, a band wants me to like play for them, and my first job is in Australia, and I have to drop out of school. I was like, I have to drop out of college in this week.
that wouldn't sound real to me as a father. I'd be like, wait, what?
Yeah. And so like I let that stay with him, and because I knew telling my mom would be the worst,
Yeah.
because I knew she would not be against it, but I knew she would just have something
I mean, it's a paradigm shift, right?
dramatic.
It is drastic and dramatic in her
Yeah.
defense. Like it is not a like it's not a like a hey, I'm
Yeah.
going to a different school.
Yeah. But so I told her, and she didn't say anything. I said, Mom, I said the same thing that I said to my dad. She didn't even say anything, and just looks at me and says, I'm gonna throw up.
Did she throw up?
And she went to the bath. I don't know if she actually threw up. She went to the bathroom,
She went through the
and then came
motions.
back, out and was like, okay, now
Did she look
say this
hungrier?
again. Like, say this again to me. And I was just like, yeah, said it again. And I mean, she was after she like, I guess saw us for the first time. She was like, oh, okay. Like this is actually a real thing. Like this, you can actually do this. And I was making shit money at
Yeah.
first. Like we were in a bus for the first time for my first tour, but that was one of the first times they were ever in a bus. So it was kind of like in that transition period of like going from a van to like,
Yeah, it's a lot of money at first, right? It's like more like all your money for the sake of sanity. And then you get to a point where it's just an expense. But at the beginning, you got to save all your money up for it.
I did 3 van tours after that, but other than that, I didn't do like the like hoofing in a van though. I
Yeah.
wasn't like living in the van. It was like van drive to hotel.
Vans were just for transportation. They weren't your housing situation.
Yeah, so
I
I
understand.
kind of I skipped that period of
Good
time,
choice.
but but I can't say that it wasn't great because it was sick.
I mean, I wanted to ask, so like when you were saying you weren't getting paid much money, I think there's an important thing to talk about here, that when you join the band, bands themselves kind of go through this. Were you in photographs right away, or were you just a touring member? I don't remember, because that's a different thing with bands, you know?
So I wasn't in photographs. I wasn't really in anything. I wasn't in first music video. Okay, so I joined when Reincarnate came out, and that's 2014.
Okay.
I joined right before that happened. A music video came out. I was not in it, but then a music video came out like a couple months after that, and I was in it. So I was like slowly like getting like trickled in to shit.
Yeah, yeah.
But I wasn't in any photos for that whole. I remember if I was. Maybe I was. I don't think I was in any photos for that whole album cycle though. But then the next album cycle I was. Mainly because our fans, like, we have some, I mean, shout out our fans. Our fans are literally the craziest people. And I will go on record to say, in our world, the craziest fans that there are.
Hey, I blame you guys. There's nothing about your band that's going to attract non-crazy people. You know, I know what you mean though. Like, they are full diehard fans.
Passionate.
Yeah. Hey, I mean,
Yeah.
for what it's worth, you guys are passionate too. Like, you full commit is the best way I think of, you know.
And I think our fans reciprocate that. But yeah,
Yes, they're amazing.
I don't remember what I was saying now about why they were so crazy.
Yeah, wait,
but
what were we talking? No, we were talking about being a member of the band and not being in photographs, and they were slowly bringing you in.
Yeah, because the fans were like, just like, where's Vinny? Why isn't Vinny in the photos? Vinny, blah, blah, you know. So then they were like, well, so we're going to give you a raise because you're now going to be in photos, blah, 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 blah. And it just like kept like going. And now I'm like, essentially, I'm just part of the motion. I'm in Motionless in White now.
I just want to break it down real fast for people who maybe haven't been in a band or aren't familiar with it. There's a difference between being like a touring member and being a member of a band. And it usually has to do with not only how you're viewed publicly, but how you're, you know, financially managed. So for the former, when he was just touring, you were kind of getting paid like a crew member would, right? Like, you're getting paid an amount to be there, but you're not like locked in. And I'm sure there's very unique situations that happen. And then when you join the band now, you know, usually you're worth a part of the band depending on who writes. And there's a lot of other things that go into the equation, but you're more permanent now. Yeah. They're testing you out for a while.
Yeah. At first it was like totally just touring member.
They didn't even talk about it, or like they didn't even talk about you eventually joining, or was that
no
planned? No,
it just, okay. I've never actually had an official joining statement ever.
you just showed up for work.
I just kind of just made my way into photos and like in videos and shit.
It's like that. There's an episode of Seinfeld and a Larry David thing where he talks about like getting fired from SNL and or quitting SNL and then wanting to join. And they're like, why don't you just show up for work? Just pretend that you never quit.
Yeah.
He's like, all right.
I kept not getting fired. So I was like, I'm here.
They're like, he seems to be doing better. Yeah, that's great. Man, that's a good story though. And I like your story of joining the band and how it was like a friend of a friend. And it's just a natural progression, because I feel like people are usually looking for a step-by-step, and there's just so many options, and everything just comes down to like, well, who do you know? Who knows you? And who haven't you pissed off?
Totally luck, because the people that I knew were not even like industry people or like anybody that I would ever view as somebody who like I was like trying to be used as a networking thing. It was just totally by chance, like just met somebody. Like my local band that I was talking about earlier was recording a single with one of my friends, Paul. And one of my friends, Paul, brought in this other guy to do a guest vocal on our song. I wasn't even there because I had to go home. It was just, I don't know. I met the guy who did the guest vocal, and the guy who did that guest vocal lived with Paul, who was in the band. That's how it just like I knew somebody who knew somebody, and it was just totally random, completely by chance and by luck. But I mean, I obviously put in the work to get there, but it was just like you can put in 1 billion hours a week, but if you don't get that lucky like push, it's, I don't know. It's such the universe somehow just shoved me into there.
Well, I think what you said is key too. It's like, it's not, I mean, the luck is important, but being available and ready and prepared for, you know, when that door presents itself is so key. Like you had every chance to say, no, I'm staying in school. No, I don't want to go to Australia. Oh, I don't want to learn these in this short amount of time. I don't want to fly to LA. Like, you had every chance to be like, and you didn't do those things, right? You chose all the correct things. So luck, sure, but I blame you a little bit more. Okay, cool. So touring for a while, eventually kind of slowly assimilate into a member of the band unofficially, officially, I guess we could say. And then I know that like obviously 2009, 2020, 21 rough because of COVID, but 2017, 2021 you kind of had like a I don't know, a personal time during that time. Do you mind? I don't know what happened. Are you okay with sharing that? And if not, it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I can give just the vague,
Yeah.
easy description of it. I mean, I was just kind of, I mean, I wasn't diagnosed or clinically, but I was definitely depressed. And a lot of, I mean, it was affecting me like my drumming. It was affecting like, I don't know. It was a crazy time. I just didn't know what was wrong with me. I just didn't know why I was like sad and just like, I don't know. I didn't like touring. I didn't even really care to be there. I didn't play drums. I didn't practice. Like it was weird.
Deflated.
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
lasted like a while. Like 20 it started like mid 2017 and just like lasted until basically like quarantine. I don't want to like totally blame it, but it was like there was a breakup that happened in that
Yeah.
time and then like just some weird mind shit. Well, I'll say like with the physical like drum shit, it was like one night I was playing a show. This is when I'd noticed and this is kind of when I went like started going downhill like fast.
Yeah. It became apparent.
Yeah, I was playing a show and there's a time in one of our songs that I just play a part with my right foot and it's just like just three hits in a row, just da da da, and I couldn't do it with just one foot, and I was like I was just like playing, just like focusing, or not even like really like paying attention to my feet or anything like that, just like looking at the crowd, and I can't do it, and I like look down, I'm like, what the, and I'm like, why can't I do this right now? I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
Cannot compute.
It was crazy. It just sent me on a downward spiral like fast. Like I couldn't do a bunch of shit. And so like I started like crutching it, like using 2 feet instead of doing 1 foot. And it affected me bad. And it was bad enough that like people like in the band even have noticed or did notice. And they never, like I said before, didn't say anything to me at all until kind of recently. And I'm like, dude, I mean, I knew about it too. I
Yeah.
was going through it. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. But I've since like crawled back out of that. I'm way out of that.
Congratulations. And I wanted to know though, the reason I asked that was, well, not only to learn and well done on pulling yourself out of it, acknowledging it. And, hopefully in the future, if other people identify this, they can help you before, sometimes it takes us a long time to figure out what's going on with ourselves and other people notice first. But I was wondering, like, when I have a bad day on the road, it's not that bad. I just put my headphones, my earplugs in, have a camera. I don't have to talk to anybody. When you have a bad day on the road, you still have to get on stage and play drums. What's the feeling like of literally probably being, I don't know, not stoked to go on stage just because of where you're at personally and then forcing yourself to do it? Like, how do you do that?
Yeah, that was like basically where I was, because like I was not having fun playing shows. I didn't feel like, even if this wasn't the case, I didn't feel like I mattered, that I was like even like that I could just been replaced at any moment. I just
Yeah.
felt like I didn't it didn't matter.
There's no value to what you were doing. Yeah.
Yeah, so like I didn't give a fuck. Like I just showed up, played, shut up.
Clock in, clock out.
Yep, was just like I was just so like out of it. I mean, the show must go on, you know?
Yeah.
Like like the band literally is counting on me. I'm like the only instrument that it is very apparent if I'm not playing well. It's the double-edged sword of, if you're playing great, nobody says a thing. If you're playing terrible, oh boy, because
Yeah.
everybody can hear you. So yeah, and I was embarrassed. It was like I'd play a bad show pretty much every night. Like when I first joined the band, it was like I was obsessed with drums and like I was so happy, so everything. So like I was just like, fuck yeah, you know what I mean? And I would like go whole tours where I'd play like almost every single song, like note for note, almost perfect. And it was like, that was like, I felt so proud of that. And then just one day it felt like that was like taken from me somehow. And like I just wasn't as good anymore. And it was so weird and so deflating and defeating.
Oh man, I can't imagine.
Yeah, it was so weird. And like I had like such imposter syndrome, because people would come up to me and be like, dude, you sound so great, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like thinking in my head, like, dude, I'm thinking I'm about to get fired. Like,
Yeah. It's so weird that, yeah.
yeah, like I don't know what you're saying to me thanks, but like
it's hard to differentiate the criticism that's necessary to become as good as you are at something, and then at the same time simultaneously acknowledging that even if you're performing to what you think is 50%, to most people that's like 99% and will do. But you don't want to like fall back on it and be like, oh, I can just be lazy and it still works. You know, you do want to get better, but how do you? Yeah, I understand that struggle.
Yeah, and what's very weird is I've come to find that my mental it's strange. Other drummers have said that it's kind of like they kind of feel the same, but my mental health is like directly tied to like how well I like if I'm playing drums really good, like if I
Yeah.
play like if I'm feeling good about myself on the drums, I feel good about myself in general. Like
Yeah.
I just like my confidence is like way up. It's like I can just be goofy and not give a fuck what anybody thinks of me because I'm killing it on the drums and you can't tell me shit. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So like that's like how my mind is like,
They're connected
yeah. And
for better or for worse.
during that time I had literally zero confidence, zero you know what I mean? I just was not stoked about anything. And lately I feel like it's the total opposite. I'm so happy. I'm like feel like I'm back and like I've been told I'm back and that feels good like to be like affirmed that like I've crawled. I'm finally here, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
let's
I'm
talk.
finally back to my normal stuff.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. That was like an important thing to say, and I cut in and felt bad because that.
No,
Yeah,
you're
I
good.
didn't mean to do that. I'm just excited to say, all right, let's talk about this. You're on a tour right now. This is an off day, or a day off, and a triple headliner, which is a pretty big tour. When this tour was, congratulations, but when this tour was first presented to you guys, how did the triple headliner come about? Because that's not normal.
Well, to be honest, like none of us could agree to being the headliner. Obviously, there's always going to be like we're. I mean, essentially, we are all like we're right here. Like we're together. Like
Yeah,
It's cool that like we've all been through the shit together.
you've been going at it for a while too.
Yeah, all three of us bands have been around for like 10 plus years. So it's like we're some of the three left that are still just chugging along and like have seen growth in the last like however many half of the decade or whatever. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's really how it came along was that like, dude, we should tour together. It would kill. And yeah, like I'm hoping that we can turn this into a longer tour,
Let's go world.
like more, yeah, like more legs and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it looks awesome. And we were talking a little bit before the podcast, but you're playing some venues now that kind of are full circle because that first A Day to Remember tour we did together was called Parks and Devastation. And I remember the other bands on the tour being like, these are really big venues. And even A Day to Remember thought they were big venues, which means they're big venues. How does it feel to kind of go back to those and headline?
Dude, that first show, it was in Arizona, Mesa, Arizona.
Oh, was that outdoor kind of amphitheater with the really small backstage kind of?
Yep.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
We played that on Parks and Devastation. We opened that.
Yeah.
And yeah, that like I teared up like after that. I was like, after we played, like after we headlined, you saw the like picture that I posted on Facebook or whatever. But
yeah, we'll grab it and put it on here.
It was unreal. It was like, I don't know. It like just playing and we all played great. Like everybody in the band, it was like the best first show of a tour ever, I think, that we've ever had. It's the biggest show of the tour. It was like 4,875 sold out. Like that is massive for us.
Let's call it 5,000.
Let's call it 5.
Let's call it 10. Yeah.
But that's like massive for us. Like that is like we've never played it. I mean, we've played a show like that, but we've never headlined a show like that ever.
Yeah, and there's a difference there that's important, right? Everybody's there to see you.
It was crazy, but it's a triple headliner though. So like
at least a third.
Technically we played last, but either of those bands very well could have played last. And it's not like it's totally random. Like
if you have a bigger market or something.
Yeah, that's kind of how it's like decided, like who's headlining where's because like some bands might do better in that market. I don't know the statistics behind Arizona or whatever, but either way, it was insane that I was like so happy that we got to like headline that for the first night. And it was crazy. It was so full circle because on that tour we opened, I actually shot the music video for my old rap thing. If you remember
what was the name of that called?
Trap Demon.
Yeah, Trap Demon, dude. I do remember that. Are you sure you don't wear those athletic tights? I keep picturing Trap Demon in my head wearing those tights. I believe you didn't. I might be confusing with somebody.
I would wear like I'd always wear like a Nike shirt I'd still have my fucking paint on, and then I'd wear like just skinny jeans and some sneakers of some sort. But either way, that was we shot a music video there at Arizona, and I passed a blunt to Thomas Pridgeon.
Oh God, Pridgeon.
That was at that venue.
Probably backwoods too. He smoked some wild shit.
Probably. What's up?
Somebody else
Ryan's
joining
here.
us. What's up, dude?
Yeah, Ryan's here.
Long time no talk. Hey man, good to see you.
He says good to see you. He has nothing to say.
Yeah.
He's the same.
Yes. Yeah. So headlining that show. Yeah, that's awesome. As I was looking at the flyer, all right, how long was the discussion on where everybody's name went on the flyer? Was that a whole discussion too?
Well, it's actually different for each. So like when we post it, we're in the center. Yeah, we're in the center. And if you go to like a venue and it's like on like one of those digital, you know what I mean, marquee things, it'll have like whoever's headlining like in the center.
Oh, that's cool.
But on the poster, I think Black Veil's in the center. Maybe Ice Nine. I think Black Veil's. Yeah, Black Veil's in the center. Because we have these posters that we sign.
Oh, okay. I know what you mean, like at a VIP thing.
Yeah.
Man, I think one of the things that people might not realize if they've not toured before is that, and although this headlining tour is a little unique, there's 3 headliners, so it's different than normal, right? Usually there's one person that's quote unquote bigger than the rest or treated differently and makes most of the calls for the tour. This is quite shared. But what are the differences you notice, and maybe in the past you even noticed this, between doing a support tour and doing a headline tour? Like, how does that affect your life during the day, if at all?
Headline tours are, I mean, this is a little different, but a traditional headline tour is usually really busy because you're doing like, I don't know, you have a longer sound check, you have VIP, which usually is way longer. This meet and greet that we have for this tour is very short, but that's because of like COVID restrictions and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
But usually it's like, yeah, you're just kind of jam packed, like doing stuff mostly throughout the day. I mean, at least traditionally for us, our meet and greets usually last a really long time. But yeah, like on a support tour, opening tour, like for like a bigger band, it's usually a lot of free time because you play a short set early in the day and then you're just kind of good.
Then you game?
Do whatever you want. Yeah, I haven't really been gaming though. Like I don't really game on. I haven't gamed at all really. When we first came, we had like rehearsal days leading into tour. Those were like the only days I gamed.
Damn.
I don't know why.
I don't know. It's just, I mean, you probably haven't been on tour in a long time. That's probably, I'm going to guess, a pretty safe guess that COVID rocked for a little while.
COVID fucked me over. COVID wasn't too bad for me. I made the best. I tried to make the best of it at least.
What'd you do? Drum?
Well, yeah, but like I tried to build like a little community on my Twitch and my Discord, and pretty fun.
That's awesome. Through gaming or just through hanging out on Twitch?
Mostly through I stream drums on Twitch. So mostly I saw that. But I mean, I kind of like just hang out and do dumb shit anyways. Like it's mostly just a hangout. But everyone, I mean, it's chaos, but they're cool. Everyone's really cool. Everyone's real nice.
What's your chat like?
My chat is insane. So like, I mean, if you know anything about me, I like chaos. I like controlled chaos.
Okay, Trap Demon. Let's hear it.
I just like, I don't know. I'm into just idiotic, stupid shit. So my chat's kind of like, they kind of bully me a lot, but it's all out. It's out of
It's like an inside joke kind of bully, you know? Like, there's an in. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I like being able to be mean to my fans, but like they know that I'm just like fucking around and we're not like, I'm not actually being mean to them.
Out of context clips from your Twitch might be kind of wild, huh?
Maybe. Lately I've been an angel.
Yeah.
I've been very
relatively.
Nice. I mean, honestly, lately I feel like, okay, so I got a new place. I bought a house recently.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I've worked
East Coast?
Yeah, in the East Coast in Pennsylvania. But I've worked like a 9 to 5 pretty much, like fixing it up and renovating it and shit. And
that's amazing.
I swear that has, for like almost 3 months, I swear that added like 15 years onto my life. Like I have a dad dick now, like for sure.
Added 15 years as in your life is going to go longer, or you are now, 43?
Yeah, maturity wise, like I'm now like a 40-year-old man.
You say that, but then you said dad dick, so they kind of contradict each other.
Okay. Yeah.
I got you though. I know what you're saying. I don't know what a dad dick is, but I can infer it.
When you become a dad, you get a dad dick just immediately.
It's just it's just like revealed to you. Here you go. Oh man, I'm picturing like some terrible movie that came out parallel to White Chicks, like about dad dicks now.
Yeah. It's a good place. I have a lot of fun on Twitch.
That's awesome. I'll come. When do you go live on Twitch?
It won't be until I get home, but which is actually this tour is pretty long. Won't be till the end of April.
Your band's just not letting you live stream the show yet from the drum set?
You know, Trivium does that actually.
I know. He's had him on here before. He's a nut, dude. He's been going at it too. I remember we played like a festival with him and he was doing it, and it was before I even used Twitch. Like I watch it. I play a card game a lot, so I watch it for that quite frequently. But it was before I even knew what Twitch was, and he was like deep into it in like 15, 16.
I've been around. I mean, probably since like 2015, 2014. I've been on that, but
that's awesome.
I haven't been streaming since then. I've been streaming since like maybe heavily since like 2019.
Well, it takes a little bit just to understand the language and the economy and kind of how it works. I don't know if you remember when you first started watching it, but it takes a second to be like, oh, I'm going to watch somebody play games and give them money. Why?
Yeah, I didn't really get it for a while. Like
it takes a bit.
I didn't like, but now I watch it like almost every day. Like there are people that I think are hilarious and just like, I don't know. It's like you're just hanging out with them. Like you're just like chilling with them.
Yeah, I use it. I watch my favorite Magic player's name is Sam Black, and Magic Gathering's card game I play, and I watch him at like night before I go to bed, and I feel like I'm getting like Magic bedtime stories told to me. And I tell him that. I think it's kind of cool. Like, right? It's better than watching TV, and it's worse than reading a book, but it's right there.
Yeah, it is. It's just like you're hanging out with a friend who happens to be either really funny or just really good at whatever you're interested in, usually.
And then there's what you do, which is you're an asshole, but no, I'm just kidding. You didn't say asshole. I haven't.
People pay me.
Yeah. How would you do? You're not an asshole. I take that back. I was kidding. That was just what kind of your words, but turned up a notch.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, cool. I mean, that pretty much sums up everything I had for you today. I thank you so much for coming on here, man.
Dude, thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here. I haven't seen you in forever. Wish I could see you in person.
I look forward to seeing you in person. It's like doing the podcast is kind of nice because I don't know about you, but I don't really call the people I tour with and just talk to them for an hour. But to have a thing to do it for, it's weird. Maybe like I might need to do some reflecting on why I never do that. I like thought for myself, I'm like, it's not that it's disingenuous to do it for a podcast. Like I genuinely enjoy talking to people. It's just easier when there's kind of like, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I got to think about it. But you know the vibe.
I know the vibe.
Yeah. Last question that we ask everybody: shower shoes, no shower shoes? What's your deal there?
Ooh, no shower shoes.
Yes.
I'm just all in.
Connor's nodding. I'm all in, no shower shoes too.
I'm all in. The way that I look at it is my skin's there for a reason. They're there to protect
to absorb
me.
Everything.
To absorb. Yeah. I'm like a skillet. I just get more seasoned as I go.
And that is a great place to end this on. Thank you so much, Vinny.
Yeah, thank you.